City Pokemon Chiropractor. How might I help you today? Excellent, you've brought in a Bulbasaur. Perfect. And what did you say your name was? Alright, it's looking like this is your first visit, is that correct? Okay, great. Not a problem at all, no. Just need to get a bit of information about you and your Bulbasaur. What is the last four of your trainer identification number? Thank you. Okay. Now, this Bulbasaur, why are we seeing it today? What brings you in? Just a checkup, or are you having, is it, I guess, having difficulties, pain, irritation? Okay, some slight discomfort. Okay, any particular move, razor leaf, fine whip, any bullet seed? Okay, fine whip, that's a common one. That's why I ask. Those three are the heavy hitters when it comes to inflammation and pain management with the Bulbasaur species. Okay, now is that fine whip, of course, painful when utilizing the move or after the move has been utilized? Okay, during. Once again, very common. Right or left side give more pain, or is it, do you notice it being the same on both sides? Both, okay. Alright, and how long have you been with your Bulbasaur? Okay. And was it a wild capture or a domestic acquisition? Sure, like gift or from a Pokemon lab. Wild capture, perfect. Quite rare. Congratulations. Okay, and how many times, give or take, do you think that your Bulbasaur has fainted during battle? Alright, not too bad. And what is the current level of your Bulbasaur? Alright. And are there any allergies to traditional over-the-counter Pokemon medications or any held Pokemon item? Not, okay, alright. Oh, yeah, that won't be a problem. What about Miracle Seed? Does your Bulbasaur have any experience taking or carrying a Miracle Seed? No known allergies to it. Perfect. That's something that we utilize here in the office quite a bit. So that will be very opportune if it's something we think we need to prescribe. Alright, well, we will get you back to the examination room and get a brief overall health screening and then get to some adjustments for that painful area. We see this issue quite a bit, so I think there are some easy things that we can do to help your Bulbasaur get to feeling better. Alright, of course, I'll show you the way right here with me. Alright, and here is your Bulbasaur. Well, one thing I can see immediately is your Bulbasaur is very healthy, and your bond must be very strong between yourself and this wonderful Pokemon. What I'm looking for when I say that is the overall clarity of the green on Bulbasaur's bulb. Oftentimes when we encounter, unfortunately, a Bulbasaur who has not been properly taken care of, we can see some brown streaks or spots on the tips of the leaves here that make up the bulb. That is due from usually poor nutrition or maybe even emotional damage to your Bulbasaur. but since your Bulbasaur has a very solid green color and bright, vibrant nature, I can tell that your Bulbasaur's health is quite superb. So congratulations on that. The first thing I'm going to do is just use my trusty light here to just get a nice overall look. Make sure that we don't have any blemishes or anything that is superficial on the skin or scales here of your Bulbasaur. Of course, your Bulbasaur is sort of an amphibian type creature, similar to other frog-like species of Pokemon, maybe even a Poliwhirl, Poliwrath type of line. A Bulbasaur still has a lot of mystery regarding its origins and whether it should be classified as a plant or animal, but that's not really my area of expertise. So I simply speculate. Excuse me. Alright, well, I don't see anything that gives me concern. Next, I'll just do a simple palpation of your Bulbasaur. Make sure that we don't have any spots that feel worrisome. And we will go ahead and take a look at this bulb here. Of course, the bulb is the primary feature of your Bulbasaur. As the bulb continues to grow and evolve, it will begin to flower and expand with further evolutionary lines of Bulbasaur. Of course, I'm sure you know Ivysaur and Venusaur. Their bulbs become much larger and more colorful. The bulbs are made up of tightly wrapped leaves that increase in density as the layers get closer to the center. So what we can do is manipulate those leaves ever so slightly to provide some increased lymphatic movement in this area. You mentioned that your Bulbasaur is struggling and having a little bit of pain when it uses its Fine Whip ability. Correct. Well, what that is usually from is this bulb has roots that extend down the body and intertwine with the skeletal system of your Bulbasaur, and they act as a bit of a secondary nervous system. So as these roots expand and grow further with the growth of your Bulbasaur, they become more sensitive to inflammation and any kind of blockages, specifically in the lymphatic system. So as that lymphatic blockage increases, pain and discomfort can be noticed in your Bulbasaur or Ivysaur or Venusaur species when they attempt to use grass-type moves stemming from the bulb. So what we will do is adjust the tightly wrapped leaves ever so slightly. This, of course, is just adjusting these leaves. They are living organisms, of course. So this will kind of stimulate some movement of that lymphatic tissue and allow healing to be sped up. So with that said, let's get on to our first adjustment. Alright, I'm just going to place a hand on either side here. And 3, 2, 1. Just a gentle, ever so slightly applying pressure there. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. And that's going to stimulate those roots that nervous system and tell Bulbasaur's body to start sending nutrients to that area, which will, of course, expedite the healing process. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There we go. How are we feeling, Bulbasaur? Perfect. Bulbasaur of the 3, 2, 1. Of the Kanto starter Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Bulbasaur is one of the more complex of these Pokemon due to the synergy between the grass plant and its more organic and skeletal body. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and maybe one more here. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay, that's starting to feel. You can almost feel a slight warmth to the leaves once that lymphatic system really kicks into gear. And that lets you know that we are on the right track. Okay, now let's get down in here to this neck area. Now, what aids in the complexity of understanding the anatomy and biology of a Bulbasaur species is the compact nature of its body. Though it is quite sturdy, it does have very compact joints and skeletal tissue makeup, so you have to be well aware of the issues it can have specifically in this neck and shoulder joint. As you can see, the space is quite limited. And with the weight of the bulb as your healthy Squirtle continues to grow, it can create a lot of tension in its spine area. So we're going to work on that first. We will simply place a firm hand here where the bulb meets the back, and we will press downward on that spine. 3, 2, 1, and a nice adjustment. Perfect. And same right here. All right. 3, 2, 1. And that's just allowing that bulb and that spine to be adjusted, providing that satisfying crack sound that you hear there. Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right. And down here to the other side. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Let's get that one more. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Nicely done, Bulbasaur. Let me just feel that meeting area there. Still a bit of tension right here. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Got it. Okay. Yes, right there. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Great. And there. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And of course, it's kind of a double-edged sword. The stronger and larger your Bulbasaur grows, the more weight the bulb places on the spine. And until that bulk and leg strength begins to show itself when the evolution to Ivysaur occurs, it does place just a bit of strain on your Bulbasaur, but that strength will aid in its evolution, so it's all part of the plan. Alright, Bulbasaur, I'm just going to ever so gently slide my hand under your chin and right there on the base of that bulb. Okay, and we're just going to get a bit of head movement. Now once again, that stoutness of your Bulbasaur makes this just a bit tricky, so hang with me. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead have a little bit more pain from this right side. Yeah, I thought so. There's quite a bit of tension here. 3, 2, 1. And okay, that's feeling better, but I'm just going to work a bit on this side. Okay. I'm gonna just get a bit of a shoulder adjustment. 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's feeling a lot better. Let's go ahead and just palpate, 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 palpate. Okay. I am surprised that it went that smoothly, but that's feeling actually pretty perfect. Bulbasaur, how do you feel? Okay. It hasn't woken up from its sleep, so that's a great sign. Alright, and let's go ahead and just end with a bit of relaxation. Not an adjustment, but a nice head massage. A good massage of that cranium area can be quite relaxing, even for a Pokemon as hardy as Bulbasaur. Alright, I think your Bulbasaur is ready to head back up front. You did absolutely fantastic, buddy. Alright, I'll see you at the front desk. Alright, well, your Bulbasaur did exceedingly well, and I think that it should be feeling at its absolute peak after today's adjustment. So, I would like to see you back in 2 weeks if the pain reoccurs, and if not, 4 weeks should do it justice. I'm going to go ahead and put in a prescription order here at the R&R Pokemart, and that will be for a Miracle Seed. This will help boost your Bulbasaur's grass-type moves, so it should require less strain for things like Vine Whip. So hopefully that helps cut down on that inflammation while your Bulbasaur is still in the healing process. You can pick that up at your convenience. Alright, well, is there anything else? Excellent. Well, I really enjoyed our time here together, and thank you so much for coming in today. Of course, have a wonderful